Well, each day we play the game of, is there enough battery life in my electronics, cell phones, laptops, iPads? Well, today there is a solution, at least we hope there is. Joel Olendeska is with SOS Charging Solutions. Battery life in phones, in devices like these iPads and whatnot can be a frustrating thing, especially when your battery dies.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because have you heard of nomophobia?
Yes, that's when you don't have your phone and you.
Yes, when you don't have your phone.
And you get shaky.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So believe it or not, when we look at our phone and it hits 20% and you get that red battery,
something inside
and
you
that
sinks.
feeling we get.
Yes, yes, the anxiety.
There's a term called nomophobia, and that's what not everybody experiences, but the majority of us are starting to experience that, which is a scary thing.
It is.
It's
But
scary.
what's handy is I find my iPad and my phone are the same. So if one dies, I have the other.
Then you switch to the other.
Yeah.
There's your backup.
Yeah.
There's a site that you've recommended. I just found it here a few moments ago. It's about how to save your smartphone battery. And this is actually pretty cool. I guess it's out of the UK, but they've come up with this idea of saying, look, here's different makes. So you put in your different make, whatever it might be, BlackBerry, Apple, Amazon, and then of course whatever the model type is as well too.
Right.
When you've got stuff like this available to you, this does help. Some of these ideas do help. And what are some of the ideas?
Well, you know what? I provided this site because it can give you very specific things to do with the type of phone. But what I want to cover today are very general, not very general, but general tips on how to save your battery no matter what type of device you have.
Let's start with number one.
Number one is going to be the brightness of your screen. That is probably the number one killer on your phone these days, or any of our devices. Each of our phones has the ability to auto dim when it wants to. Turn that off. It doesn't need to auto dim. Set the dim to whatever you feel needs, wherever you need it to be, right? 50% or less is going to save you quite a bit of battery throughout the long run. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next one.
Next one is going to be turn off the signals or radios that you don't have or you don't use. So inside of our phones we have Wi-Fi radios, cellular radios, NFC radios, Bluetooth. If you're not using any of these, turn them off. You don't need them, right? NFC, how often are you going to use that? Right?
I don't even know what that is.
Near field communication. So you know how Apple Pay just came out and you're going to be able to kind of tap your phone and it lets you pay. That's using NFC technology.
So maybe we also need to become more familiar with our
what
phones.
type.
There you
Yeah.
go.
But you know what? We're all familiar with Bluetooth, right? Do you really need to have that headset in your ear all day long? If you're not expecting a call or not on a call, turn it off.
Yeah.
Right?
There's vibrating. So,
Vibrating is an interesting one.
So if you go to, let's say you're in a meeting or something, you set your phone to vibrate. Now, why is it an interesting one?
It's an interesting one because for all the manufacturers, with the exception of one, the vibrating tone when it's ringing affects your battery. So for everybody with the exception of BlackBerry, if you have your phone on vibrate, it actually kills your battery a bit quicker.
Faster than it would be if it was on like loud.
Exactly, instead of it being on ring. So because you have to think there's an actual physical piece in that phone that creates that vibration. BlackBerry on the other hand though, they're clever enough to have programmed their phones to actually not use up as much battery when it's on vibrate. And that's because they knew that a lot of their business users, that type of clientele that they have, are going to be putting their phones on vibrate inside the meeting. So that's the way they set it.
It's with Kate has an iPhone and I have a BlackBerry. For me to replace my battery, it's quite simple.
Yes.
Boom, pop it out, boom, put in a new one. For Kate though, with an iPhone, it's not that easy.
Right.
No.
Yeah, so
They trick you. They just want you to get a new phone.
well, yeah.
Those guys.
And that's why knowing how to conserve your battery is so important. We run into this all the time with SOS Charging Solutions. Like we're constantly giving tips on how to save your battery when you're coming to charge your phone with us. However, if you have an iPhone or especially an iPhone, know these tips, because at the end of the day, if you're out for 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, and you don't have a charger nearby, you're going to want to do something to help conserve that battery power.
Push notifications.
Push notifications. So the big example for that one is your mail, right? Depending on how often you need to have your mail pushed to you, less often is a lot better. So do you need your mail pushed to you every 5 minutes? Do you need it Are you okay with 15 minutes? Are you okay with 30 minutes? Right? So the longer you have that mail pushing to you
That's your email,
less often,
right?
that's your
Yeah.
email, the better.
Yeah.
Right? And other push notifications as well. Like really, I don't need to know, for example, with Facebook, that somebody's invited me to play Farmville. I don't really care, to be honest.
Wait a
But I
minute.
don't need that, right? Do you need it?
Yeah.
Depending on how important it is in your life,
Yeah.
turn it
So
on.
maybe prioritize
But
your
prioritize
apps
the
and-
apps that you want to have on, right?
Locking
Yeah.
your phone.
Locking your phone. I put that in as a tip because if you think about it, if you don't lock your phone, if it's in your pocket, every time a button gets pressed, it turns on.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it'll time itself out. Turn on, time itself out. So put it on lock, set it to lock at a minute or less. That'll help your phone from turning on all the time.
We have a minute or less. So temperature, because I know it's been up and down, and especially here in the winter now, well, with Calgary so unpredictable.
Yeah.
Temperature does play a factor as well.
Temperature does play a factor in how long your battery lasts. Extreme heat really hurts your battery. Really hurts. You'll probably notice that in the summer. If you're out on a patio, you have your phone there on the table, you'll
It
notice
gives
that
you,
the
like, a
battery just, you can actually
notification, yeah.
watch the battery die off. Same thing on extreme cold. So if you're out on the hill, snowboarding, skiing, whatever it may be, try to keep it warm.
So stick
Right.
one of those warm pouches with
Yeah,
it in
put
your
it in a
pocket.
nice little
Oh, that's a good
canvas.
There you
idea.
go.
I like that.
Yeah.
Joel, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, more Tech Talk coming up over the next couple of weeks, because you're coming back over the next few Mondays to talk more about tech stuff.
Yeah, we're going to talk about tech gifts.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Gifts that Kate can buy me.
First
Looking
on
forward
my
to it.
list.
Make sure you start with the real expensive ones. Thanks, Joel. Joel
Yeah, you're welcome.
Olendeska with SOS Charging Solutions. Still to come, opportunities for Calgary immigrants. Here's what's happening in and around Calgary. This is Trending on Shaw.